Hi there, and welcome to Here's How to Make Healthier Wine Choices. When it comes to the ongoing discussion as to the health impact of wines, it appears that sipping on it in low to moderate volumes brings various perks for both men and women. Today, we'll delve into what actually makes wines healthy and explore how to make healthier wine choices based on your individual needs and purposes. According to the National Library of Medicine, wine, thanks to its special mix of polyphenols and antioxidants, seems to protect against heart issues, type 2 diabetes, and neurological disorders. Studies, especially from the Mediterranean, suggest that having wine in low to moderate volumes might help you live longer and lower the chances of health problems, all without greatly affecting the risk of cancer, though not drinking alcohol at all is still considered the best prevention for cancer. The way people enjoy wine matters too. In the Mediterranean, where they include wine with meals, it sits slowly, helping the body to process it better. Having food in your stomach when you drink wine slows down how your body absorbs it, making it better for your metabolism. This might also lower the impact of alcohol on your mouth bacteria and boost how your body uses the healthy parts of wines, like polyphenols, possibly helping with lower blood sugar levels. It's important to note that if you don't drink, you shouldn't start drinking just for potential health benefits. Wines are made from ripe grapes which are harvested and crushed to release the juices within. If it's a white wine, it's quickly pressed off the skins to prevent any unwanted extraction of color and aroma compounds. If it's a red wine, the skins are left with the juice to ferment, which is how they gain their color and other flavor compounds. The natural sugars in the grapes are converted into alcohol by yeast, specifically Saccharomyces cerevisiae, which could take days, weeks, or even months. Next comes the rusting or aging process. Depending on the type of wine being made, this can take place in stainless steel vats, concrete tanks, or wooden barrels, and can be as short as a few weeks to several years. The choice of aging vessels can have a significant impact on the wine's flavor profile, with new oak barrels, for example, imparting a rich toasted flavor as well as more tannins. Finally, the wine is bottled, often after being fined and filtered to remove any remaining solids. It's sometimes left to mature in the bottle, a process that can take several years for some wines. Whilst the study of science and technology is constantly evolving with new findings, red wine has always been hailed as a treasure trove of health benefits. According to various sources, including Mayo Clinic and the National Library of Medicine, polyphenols in wine, such as resveratrol, anthocyanins, catechins, and tannins, act like superheroes for your body's natural defense systems, enhancing antioxidant abilities and regulating inflammation to lower the risk of related diseases. Red wines take the lead with an average content of 1.8 grams per liter. In contrast, white wines offer a mere 0.2 to 0.3 grams per liter, whilst beer and spirits fall far behind. Resveratrol in particular, a polyphenol that is generally 10 times more prevalent in red wines than whites, comes with a bundle of health benefits. It packs antioxidant, anti-inflammatory, anti-aging, and anti-carcinogenic properties, potentially helping to prevent chronic diseases and promoting a longer, healthier life. Now, you might be wondering what's so special about red wines and why it contains so much more of these nourishing polyphenols. It's all thanks to the grape skins, which almost act like tea bags, adding all these nutrients, aromas, flavors, and textures to these red wines. And this has long been touted to be the reason behind the French paradox. And what's the French paradox? It's a fascinating phenomenon that has puzzled researchers for years. Despite having a diet rich in saturated fats, think of all the French cheeses, the copious amounts of butter, foie gras, and yet the French experience lower rates of heart disease, compared to other countries with similar dietary habits. The key element often attributed to this paradox is the moderate consumption of red wines, which may help lower bad cholesterol levels whilst increasing good cholesterols and reducing hypertension by preventing blood clots and vessels. And here's our first fun fact for today. Did you know that the average French person consumes 8 kilos of butter per year? But it's important to note that the French paradox is a complex phenomenon, and whilst red wine may be a factor, it's not the sole explanation. Other lifestyle factors such as a Mediterranean-style diet with plenty of fresh fruit, vegetables and olive oils, as well as moderation in quantities, all contribute to overall heart health. According to yet another review, polyphenols in red wines can positively influence the community of microbes in our digestive system. They encourage the growth of beneficial bacteria whilst creating helpful byproducts that can be found in various bodily fluids. Additionally, in wines that undergo malolactic fermentation, and that would encompass 98% of all red wines, as well as some styles of white wines such as Chardonnay, Semillon, and Viognier, they contain lactic acid bacteria. After the alcoholic fermentation by the yeast is complete or partially, bacteria that are naturally present, particularly lactic acid bacteria, will consume the tart malic acids and convert them into softer, milk-like lactic acids. Lactic acids are known to have probiotic properties. Probiotics are like superheroes for your gut. They enhance digestion, aid in nutrient absorption, and prevent tummy troubles. They also boost your immune system, helping you to fight off infections. And guess what? Recent research even showed that they may have a positive impact on your mood and help with inflammation in your body. So they're like the all-in-one package for a happy, healthy you. But the lactic acid bacteria content in the final wine is dependent on how natural or processed the wine is, as well as other factors such as grape variety, wine aging, and if the wine is fined and or filtered. The bottom line is, the more non-natural processes that a wine undergoes, including fining and filtration, the less health benefits the wine will possess. The way we make wine can impact the amount of tannins that it contains, with red wines often containing up to 300 milligrams per liter. Now, oak contains two important tannin compounds, procyanidins and elagitannins. Procyanidins, which are also found in grape skins and seeds, are known for their powerful antioxidant, antibacterial, anti-inflammatory, and anti-tumor properties. They have the potential to treat various diseases like Alzheimer's, diabetes, arthritis, tumors, and obesity, although they are not easily absorbed by the body. On the other hand, elagitannins from oak are known for their positive effects on heart health, neurological conditions, and cancer. So the use of oak in winemaking not only adds flavors and textures, but also brings potential health benefits through these beneficial compounds. New oak barrels tend to have higher levels of elagitannins, as do French oak in comparison to American. When exposed to heat and with higher toasting levels, elagitannin concentrations decrease. Even extracts from oak wood shavings, especially those from Ukrainian oak, are rich in elagitannins. In the kaleidoscope of sustainable winemaking, choosing a healthier option involves navigating through the realms of biodynamic, organic, natural, and sustainable wines. Each philosophy weaves its own story, so let's take a closer look as we rank these approaches in terms of health, purity, and naturalness. Biodynamics isn't just farming. It's a celestial dance with the strictest method of agriculture, which bans chemicals in favor of compost, manure, and natural remedies. It creates self-sustaining ecosystems, aligning actions from planting to harvest with lunar and astrological cycles. Originating in the 1920s based on the teachings of Rudolf Steiner, biodynamics is practiced in more than 55 countries and played a key influence in the development of organic farming. Biodynamic certification by Demeter or Biodivin prohibits the use of synthetics, including genetically modified products, be it in animal farming, agriculture, or food and beverage processing. The process takes at least 3 years with Demeter, where farms are certified beyond organic to biodynamic standards, whilst full Biodivin certification requires 4 years and tasting committee approvals. Costs can range from thousands to tens of thousands of dollars. Outcomes that have been reported years later seem to be all-encompassing and astronomical, including in the Finnish wines. Forbes called Nicholas Joly the godfather of biodynamic wines, as he led the movement in the Loire from the early 1980s. This movement has surely caught on and spread like fire, with world-renowned brands embracing biodynamics from the likes of Domaine Romagny Conti and Joseph Druhan in Burgundy, Chateau Smith Haute Lafitte, Chateau Palmer and Domaine des Chevaliers in Bordeaux, as well as the great champagne house of Rodera. Due to the processes, labour and costs associated, not all farmers and producers would seek certification despite adhering to biodynamic practices. Look out for such wines in their label descriptions, even if they don't bear the Demeter or Biodivin logos. Organic grape growing and wine making prohibits the use of any synthetic chemicals, pesticides, and herbicides, opting for a more natural approach. Most people think that organic farming means zero use of chemicals, but that's a great misconception. Organic farming allows the use of certain pesticides and chemicals that may occur naturally in nature. Some examples of chemicals which are widely used in organic viticulture are sulfur and copper, which are used to combat fungal infections in vines, such as oidium and mildew. And here's another fun fact. If you've ever passed by fruit orchards or vineyards and wondered why their leaves or trunks were bluish, that's because they were sprayed with a copper sulfate solution, which is known as the Bordeaux mixture, to combat fungal and bacterial growth in plants. The USDA organic certification is the gold star standard and is much more stringent than EU standards. I rank USDA organic second to biodynamic certifications when it comes to holistic wines. Whilst the number of permitted additives is significantly higher, the USDA organic certification prohibits any added sulfites to wines. There are two main differences when it comes to USDA and EU organic regulations. Under USDA certifications, all ingredients used must be certified organic from the yeast to any fining agents. European organic standards require only 95% of the ingredients to be organic. The second difference is where USDA standards prohibit any added sulfites, whilst the EU allows up to 100 parts per million of sulfites. And if you're looking at American wine labels, be sure to draw a distinction between USDA organic certified wines and those which are made from organically grown grapes. And if you'd like to learn how to navigate through the various terms which are often confusing on wine labels, do check out my videos up here. Born out of a 1960s rebellion, natural wines embrace minimal intervention, allowing nature to dictate the winemaking process. This involves a hands-off winemaking approach with indigenous yeasts that are naturally present in the environment, no temperature control, minimal additives, and minimal processing, all aimed at preserving the raw, natural character of the grapes to allow the notion of terroir to shine through. Such wines may appear cloudy with some sediments, as most producers believe that nothing should be removed from the final wines, and that means no fining or filtering. Currently, there are no official certifications for natural wines. The lack of regulations allows producers a lot of flexibility, but raises questions as to consistency and the authenticity of the natural label. Sustainability emerged as a response to environmental concerns, emphasizing on long-term ecological balance and the responsible use of resources. In the quest for balance between environmental responsibility and economic viability, sustainable grape growing and wine making ranks first. Sustainability is a vast field that is all-encompassing. It spans from the vineyards to bottles and even after use, taking into consideration factors such as reduction of ecological footprints, water conservation, energy efficiency, and social responsibility. Whilst not as strict as organic or biodynamics, sustainable wines prioritize environmental health. The focus on responsible practices contributes to the overall health of the wines. In general, white wines tend to be lower in alcohol than reds. Sparkling wines and lighter-bodied wines from cooler climates or those grown at higher altitudes normally contain lower alcohol by volume. Grapes for sparkling wines are harvested before they reach full ripeness to retain their acidity and thus contain less sugars to be converted into alcohol. It's important to note that lower alcohol wines tend to have higher levels of residual sugars than dry wines and thus often contain higher calories. As the saying goes, you can't have your cake and eat it too. Naturally sweet, off-dry or semi-dry wines, that is, they haven't had any sugars added to them, have lower alcohol levels as the yeast wouldn't have had the chance to finish their meal before being killed off and or filtered out. Here are some types and styles of wines that you can opt for if you're concerned about alcohol content. When it comes to white wines, Moscato d'Asti, Rieslings from Germany, Austria, America, and Australia, Pinot Grigios, and Portuguese Vinho Verdes are good options. As for reds, opt for lighter-bodied fresh versions such as Beaujolais, cool climate Pinot Noirs, basic Valpolicellas, and Schiavas. Schiava is a native grape from the north of Italy in Trentino Alto Adige. Famous for its cotton candy-like aromas and flavors, this grape is also known as Trollinger or Grenache in Germany. And if you haven't heard the buzz around Nolo drinks, these are your favorite beverages with the alcohol content significantly dialed down or completely removed. From beers and spirits to wines and cocktails, the market is abuzz with terms like no, free, zero, low, light, and reduced. According to the IWSR, the market value for Nolo products soared to over $11 billion in 2022. The 10 key markets continue to be led by Germany, and there are no signs of a slowdown. Alcohol and sugars are the main contributors to calories in wines. So opting for drier wines with lower alcohol content would be the best option if you're concerned about calories. Root-style sparkling wines and most dry reds and whites would pack between 100 to 125 calories in a standard American pour of 5 ounces or say 150 milliliters. It's very important to remember that the consumption of wine is only beneficial if it's in moderation. The problem is, the definition of moderation varies significantly from country to country. The American CDC recommends 2 drinks or less a day for men and 1 drink or less for women. In the UK, there is no distinction between genders. The NHS recommends not more than 14 units of alcohol per week, spread across 3 days or more. Some of the highest weekly limits include Poland, Hungary, Belgium, and Greece. And that, my friends, concludes Here's How to Make Healthier Wine Choices. Enjoy life, but also tune into your body's signals. It's your guide to maintaining balance. I've personally adopted the moderation mantra, drinking whatever I fancy whenever, but in moderation. Until our next rendezvous, here's to amazing health and making wiser sips.